Today we're going to check out 10 minimalist knives. These are very simple knives, basic knives, very plain knives, and that's what they're good at. They're good at just being a regular pocket knife. We're going to start it off with the O knife Rubato. Now, this is probably the best O knife I've tried yet, and I say that because my biggest complaint about O knife is that they put these big logos all over the place. Now, they did wind up putting one right there. I don't like their logo. I hate it. It reminds me of a Hot Wheels car, and if they don't know what that is, it's a toy. So it reminds me of a toy when I see it, and I don't like that. This one is the most plain Jane I have seen from them. So you don't have a ton of stuff on the blade. You still do have some writing, which I could, take or leave, but it's very, very basic and it's very plain, and I think it looks good. It's a good looking knife and it's a great function knife. S35 VN blade steel, very thin geometry, nice and slicey. I love this carbon fiber. It has that just enough little pop, for a very basic, very plain knife. This carbon fiber, it looks like little roses. And it looks great. It's really, really lightweight, nice and ergonomic. It's a great size, titanium milled pocket clip. It is using the crossbar lock, as you can see, and they have a nice chamfer right here on the carbon fiber, so you can get down to those thumb studs really nice. Really good action. It is riding on bearings. And yeah, just an awesome, awesome knife from O Knife. And like I said, I've been pretty critical about the O Knives, but this one's really good. Not that their knives are bad. Like I said, those logos and stuff like that just drive me nuts. This is Big Idea Designs Thai pocket knife. Now, this is almost as simple as you can get. You only have the pivot hardware that you can see. The other screw is right there. So to take this thing apart, you got to take off that screw. And then it has this plate that holds everything together on this side. So it makes it to where this knife has almost no hardware. It looks really good. It is a broad, deep hollow ground blade. This does get down nice and thin behind the edge, but it has, a relatively robust blade stock. The handle is a great size for a compact, smaller knife. I wouldn't say it's a small knife, but it's on the smaller side. You can get a full 4-finger grip back here, or you can choke up a little bit. The access to the lock bar, really good access. This is a titanium frame lock. And if you look, it does not have a steel lock bar insert. It does not have a steel lock bar insert, so this is a carbonized lock face. Rock solid lockup though. Really good action from the flipper tab. The flipper tab is squared off, so it's a little pokey on the edge, but you can go right over to the top, and it's not bad. The detent is tuned really well for it. Has a nice sound. Very metallic sound. The clip works great, and I like this clip a lot. It is a titanium spring pocket clip, but because it is so low profile, it's very comfortable in the hand. It allows you to have a compact knife without the clip digging into your hand when you're using it. Blade Steel's S35 VN. Love the sharpening tool and plunge grind. They did a great job with that. And yeah, just all around a very plain Jane knife, but it's an awesome minimalist knife. Next is the Banter, the Wee Banter. This is as basic as you can get for a knife. It is just so basic. But that's where its superpowers are. There's nothing, crazy about it. It's a straightforward knife, liner lock action, very plain Jane. Now, there is different handle materials. This has a spear point blade, which I love, this blade shape. It is a full flat grind. Well, actually not full flat, sorry. It is a flat grind. The handle, it's so short and compact, but that allows you to get a very comfortable grip on this. You can bear down on this one long-term all day. And because of the size, utility cuts are going to be good. It's very wieldable, you can manipulate it really, really nicely. And, it's super simple, as you can see. It does have a deep carry clip that's inset with flat screws, and it is reversible. Great thumb stud action. S35 VN blade steel, and the carbon fiber one, the only difference is it does not have the reversible clip on it, but this one is a little bit more money. But again, similar action, well, same action, I should say, but it does have a little bit of a different feeling because of the handle materials. But yeah, like I said, as simple as you can get. It is just a knife, and that's what's awesome about it. Next is the Civivi or We Knife Co. Cubit. This to me is one of the best pocket knives that came out. What would it be, this year? Yeah, I think it came out this year. Maybe it came out last year. I'm not positive about that. But what I would say is it is one of the best lightweight, slicey pocket knives that is just basic. It's super simple, very slicey. It's like 90 thousandths blade stock thickness, but it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. So like right here, it's like 80 thousandths or something. Very thin behind the edge. I have tested this one. I actually tested the Civivi version and the We Knife Co. version head to head. If you want to see that video with edge retention tests, we did abuse tests, we did all kinds of tests. And this thing is still as strong as it was when it started, which is crazy. And this is why I'm always glorifying We Knife Co.'s button locks. Both of the knives that went through all this abuse are still rock solid button lock action. I don't know any other company that does a button lock that would go through everything I put the knives through and not have any up and down play. And listen to this thing. This thing hammers out there. Titanium scales. This is 20 CV. The Civivi version is aluminum handles, so that's the difference. It's aluminum handles with 14C28M blade steel. Titanium mill pocket clip. The Civivi version obviously just has a regular spring pocket clip. Titanium hardware. Ceramic caged bearings in the pivot. Very plain, very simple. Comes in multiple different colors. A bunch of different color options. Same thing with the Civivi one. But yeah, very ergonomic. It's super slicey, super lightweight, very easy to carry. And when you're just needing a knife, like this is like an easy grab. And that's why I carried it so much. And that's why I said it is like one of the best lightweight slicey knives that you can get, because, you know, when you're walking out the door and you just need a knife that's going to be able to tolerate whatever you throw at it, you know, as long as it's not like really, really hard use. This is such an easy grab. The blade shape's going to work for just about everything you could use a knife for. The action is really good. It's very comfortable in the hand, super lightweight, and like I said, extremely slicey. Next is the PIRATECH KRAKEN. Now, these are not affordable. These are pretty expensive, but they're very, very plain Jane. If you look, you see no hardware at all, because it has magnetic scales. So this makes it to where you don't have to have any hardware, and it is so easy to change, or, you know, whatever with your Omega springs. You can clean it super easily. It's like one of the easiest knives to maintain, break down. And it's awesome. It really is really good. And this one is the DLC. The blade steel's S90V, so it's S90V. This one has the DLC. Beautiful DLC coating. Very ergonomic. This is if you like the Benchmade 940, this is a great alternative. Now, the thing is, though, is that the Benchmade 940 is quite expensive now. The prices only went up higher and higher, just like all Benchmades, and it has gotten into almost a ridiculous place. They just dropped a new version of the 940, which has like this copper colored aluminum scales. It's like a brown, and it looks really good. I almost bought one. I mean, I love it. I think it looks great. But this one's the S90V version. Originally comes with carbon fiber scales. I have aftermarket scales on mine. But if you like the 940, this is a great alternative to it, and you're going to get better materials for, you know, a similar price. Basically, these are like, I think like $300 or right around $300. S90V titanium, and you can get different scales if you want to swap the scales out. Titanium mill pocket clip that works great. They have different finishes on the titanium. The scales are quite expensive though. If you want to buy replacement scales, I think they're almost too expensive. But like I said, if this is something that you're really into, like the 940, the style of it, the geometry of it, you know, slightly robust while being very narrow and, you know, very easy to carry, this is a great alternative because it has all those same qualities, you know, a tougher blade shape or geometry, very narrow, good ergonomics, but this one uses bearings. So the action is very, very good right out of the box. Anyways, awesome, awesome knife, the Kraken. I do like it a lot. I do think it's a little overpriced, but still a badass knife. Next is the Otter by Terrain 365. Now, Terrain has like, it's kind of weird how their knives are done. So to my understanding, they're made in, it's made in 3 different countries. I think parts are made in, I could be wrong. I think parts are made in Japan, shipped to China, made in China or something, some of the parts, and then brought to the USA or something. And then, oh no, sorry. Made in Japan, brought to China, assembled, you know, and made in China. And then the blade material is made in the USA. So anyways, I'm not sure if that's every single one of their knives or if that's just, you know, it's just like a group between them, but it is partially USA because of the blade. The blades are USA made, and then the handles are, you know, basically made in China. The titanium mill pocket clip on this, titanium liners, very, very basic, simple design. It has a spear pointish blade in Teravantium, which is not steel. So this is a completely corrosion proof knife. Titanium can't, you know, rust or anything like that. This has no steel inside of it at all. It's kind of like a mixture, I think, between like, I don't know. Just go look it up. I have done an edge retention test on it, but there's a lot of information on Teravantium. It's the beauty of it is it takes a very aggressive toothy edge and it holds a very, very toothy edge for a very long time while also being corrosion proof. Super snappy, detent in action. You know, like I said, it's just a basic knife. It's super simple, very lightweight, you know, especially with the materials because this blade material is not heavy. Titanium mill pocket clip. It does have a little lanyard post back there. Good access to the lock bar. Very, very, like I said, very, very simple. This is something that if you just need a good pocket knife and you're worried about corrosion and things like that, and you know, I would say if edge sharpness is not a factor for you, this might be one for you, because I'm not saying it doesn't get sharp. It does get sharp, but it's not the same type of sharpness that you get from steel. It's more of an aggressive saw-like edge. So, you know, which makes it to where you can continue to cut for a long time through materials that are abrasive. Next is the Kershaw Bel Air. And, you know, again, just like the video, you know, or the title of the video, it's a very minimalist knife. Very simple. It's just a knife. You get what you pay for here. And I think that this is a really good value when you look around at other USA made knives. This is about 150 bucks. They do have an all blacked out one, Magna Cut steel, and it has this this stone washed coating that's gonna hold, or sorry, it's gonna hide scratches and stuff. So this is something you can beat on a little bit. This one's went through edge retention tests, and you know, it still looks brand new. The scales are aluminum. And then it has a deep carry steel spring pocket clip, crossbar lock. They did a really good job on their lock face geometry on this. Mine is rock solid. I did change out my Omega springs to Kaiser's Omega springs just because they have stronger Omega springs. Perfect sharpening tool and plunge grind. They did a really good job. You have plenty of room to sharpen it. It took an incredible edge. I did do an edge retention test. You guys can go watch that if you want in the full review. But like I said, super simple, and I'm glad to see Kershaw making another manual pocket knife in the USA. I've been screaming about it for so long, and I'm glad that they are finally doing it, and I hope we see even more. Now, this next one, I'm going to bring up a few examples, and that is the Elementum. The Elementum is one of the most basic knives that you can get. I think it is one of the best gift knives because, one, it's very affordable. Like, you can get this one for like right around 50 bucks with a deep hollow ground spear point blade, a very neutral handle where it's like it's just going to fit in anybody's hand, but it's compact, it's small, it's not large at all. Flipping action on this version. This is the liner lock version, and then there's tons of aftermarket parts, or even Civivi sells their own parts too. So this whole thing is all bought from Civivi's site. If you go, I will link everything down in the description. You can get it directly from Amazon or directly from the Civivi store. Remember, I do have a 15% discount code for Civivi, Send Cuts, and Wheeze. So when you see the price on their site, just know there is still a big discount. This is a frag titanium scale and then a milled titanium pocket clip. These are from Civivi. So really awesome. And this one is actually, I think the S35. Yeah, this one's the S35 VN version, which is a little bit thinner and slicier. And then this one's the WE Knife Co version. This one does not have a hollow. This is a flat ground version, but it's still very slicey. Titanium scales, titanium hardware, very basic, very simple, super snappy. Now, my favorite version is not going to be this one. It's going to be this one, the big version. You can see how much larger it is. If you're ever looking on my link, or if you click the link and you're trying to pick this particular one, not this particular one, sorry, the large version, because this one you can't get. This was an exclusive that they don't make anymore in 20CV and titanium. However, you can get the 14C 28M version, which is the one I recommend way more than this one. And it has the same action, you know, which is like a gravity knife. You just push the button, swing it out, and it locks open and locks closed. You can push the button and flick it and then let go of the button. But anyways, the hollow ground version is the one you want to get. It's like 65 bucks, and it's 3.5-inch blade, and that's how you separate them. If you want to know which one, because they also have regular button locks in this size, just look at the blade length. 3.5-inch is the big one. The other ones, these are like 3 inches or something, or smaller, 2.9 inches, something like that. Anyways, one of my all-time favorite knives. It's especially for a basic knife. Again, kind of like the KUBEY we were talking about earlier. This is such an easy grab for me. You know, and if you want titanium, they do have aftermarket titanium scales that you can get if you want to upgrade yours from micarta to that, or G10, whichever one you get. But the size, in my opinion, this is a perfect size knife. Perfect size for everything you're going to need a knife for. It's big enough to do, you know, the nice slicey task where you're breaking down cardboard or whatever, but it's also small enough where you can do the nice fine detail work. Very slim, very narrow, very easy to carry. And the action is, in my opinion, I like it. I think it's cool. It's very fidget friendly. They do a good job with their lock face geometry with this. It's not a conventional button lock. It has like a liner with like a disc attached to it. And yeah, awesome, awesome knife. Like I said, it's one of my favorite minimalist knives. If I was going to, you know, if I was going to just pick a knife for the day, that's just such an easy grab. The Benchmade Griptilian. This to me is one of the best knives for somebody who needs a tough knife. That's, you know, they just need a knife. They need a knife. They want it to be tough. They want it to cut well. They want it to be ergonomic. The Griptilian, it's in a class all of its own. I really, really do adore the Griptilian. I like it even more than the Ritter, the Hogue, the Hogue Ritter one. I think that one is great. I love that knife. I've had one. I have the mini and I had the large one, but I wound up selling it or trading it or something. But the sheep's foot blade shape with the hole, I think is way better. I personally like the Griptilian version more than the Ritter. Yes, the Ritter has 20 CV, but to be honest, Benchmade's S30V1 is really, really good. They do a great job with their S30V, and Hogue does not do the best job with the 20 CV. It just is what it is. So this winds up being such an affordable knife. Like this exact one right here, you can get for like $109 right now. $109, USA made, FRN scales, super good action, like just so smooth. You would think it was on bearings, and it's super solid, like very solid. This is a great work knife. The geometry is more for a tougher knife, so it's still slicey enough to where you can slice with it just fine, especially with the ergonomics. But because the blade is a little bit thicker, you can technically be a little tougher on it. Here's the full-size version. And with the full-size version, my goodness, is this thing comfortable. This is a great large knife. Like I said, the tip is not fragile. You can do light-duty prying with it. I'm not telling you to pry with your knife, but you can with this one, while also being, you know, a good slicer, especially if you lower back the edge angle like I did. I put a 15-degree edge bevel on mine. Very slicey. This one's S30V as well. Aftermarket scales. But the Griptilian, as simple as you can get, man. This is just, especially for a USA-made knife. But to me, I love it because this is a knife that actually makes sense. Granted, yes, I wish it had a hollow grind. Yes, I wish it was a little slicier. But because the geometry is a little thicker, it allows you to be a little tougher on it while having the best ergonomics for this type of geometry. If you're going to give me this type of geometry, give me good ergonomics. And they did that. And then last the Hogue Deca. The Hogue Deca in Magna Cut steel. I know I said they don't do a great job with their 20 CV, but they do a great job with their Magna Cut. 63 to 64 HRC. They have really good ergonomics. It's very, very lightweight. This is a super lightweight knife. I would put it right next to, you know, something like the KUBEY, you know, with as far as lightweight and just, you know, an easy grab. This one has aftermarket scales from Original Goat. 15% discount code, link down in the description. I absolutely recommend it. If you're going to get a Deca, I think it's almost... Well, if you get the Magna Cut version with FRN, I think you need to get aftermarket scales. If you get the G10 one, I guess you don't have to. But personally for me, I like the Magna Cut one better. It does come in 2 different blade shapes. This one is their Warncliffe blade shape, but it does also have a drop point blade shape. Super solid lockup. Very, very, it's a very good size for a pocket knife. Like it's basically the perfect size for most people with a pocket knife. It's not too big, it's not too small, very lightweight, nice and slicey. And yeah, it's a great freaking knife. And it's USA made, which I absolutely love. And it's relatively affordable for what actually, no, I'm not gonna say relatively. It's very affordable for what you're getting. Like you can get the Magna Cut version for like around 138 bucks or something like that. Now, yes, the original Goat scales are still USA made, and if you do get them, that does up the price. But just for the knife itself, very, very affordable for what you're getting. Granted, I'm not a fan of FRN, so like I said, I immediately want to change my scales. But not everybody is the same way. I just personally feel like it's a little too lightweight with the FRN, and it's flimsy. This is rock solid with hardly putting any weight on it. You'd have to weigh them to know the difference. Anyways, there you guys go. 10 minimalist knives. These are just basic, simple knives. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.